Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Our largest single-theme land expansion ever.
Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 121 of Matterhorn Mondays, coming to you live from the Outpost, you guys. We are outposted live right now at the base of the Matterhorn in Disneyland, in case you couldn't tell by the lovely aesthetic behind me. But anyways, my name is Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian.
And today, we have no special guests this week, you guys. Jeremy, busy as always. I think he was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, so he's couldn't get up as early today for the show, but next week, hopefully, we'll have Jeremy back on. Yeah, he's a popular fellow. And for, I guess links, as you all know, to everything will be down in the description below. Twitters, Instagrams, Patreons, all that kind of jazz. And, yeah, we got a great episode planned for you guys. A lot of great topics. I guess there's a sporting event happening today, you guys. I made that joke like 5 times already before we recorded, so I'm just gonna stop. Anyways, if you'd like to be wished a happy birthday live on the stream, you guys, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description below. Fill out the Google Doc. You can submit your name, your birthday. You don't have to put the year you were born. Just your name or your username, if you'd prefer to go by that. And the month and day of your birthday. And this week we have 4 birthdays this week, you guys. That's like a new record. Tuesday the 4th, of February. CM Nate's birthday. I'm not sure if that stands for like cast member Nate or whatever, but Mr. Nate, happy birthday to you, as well as Ryan. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your last name, so I'm not even going to try. Mr. Ryan, Hynds. Ryan Hines. Is that close enough, Alex? Do you concur?
That sounds like Heinz to me.
All right, Mr. Ryan Hines. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Happy birthday to you. As well as on Wednesday, the 5th, Justin Boyer's birthday. Happy birthday to you. And special birthday, you guys, Mr. Mr. Timothy William, that's not his name. Mr. T. Will's birthday is Monday the 3rd. This Monday the 3rd, actually. So happy birthday to all 4 of you wonderful people. Like I said, link in the description if you'd like to be wished a happy birthday on stream. And if you guys would like to voice your opinion on any of the topics we have at hand, you can go ahead and dial on your rotary phone with like the numbers where you have to twist the thing. 575-386-5814. Leave a voicemail. We'll be listening to them throughout the episode. Voice your opinions on any of the topics we happen to be discussing, you guys. But yeah, Alex, do you have any announcements you'd like to make before we get into today's episode of the show?
I have a YouTube channel for those that don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I am Alex the Historian. I create Disney history videos, which differ from other people's history videos in the sense that I talk about technical details, anecdotes, and other stories and things that most people don't know about. And I also do vlogs where I vlog my experience in the park. So check out my channel.
Link in the description, you guys. And I forgot to announce this last week as well. I started a new podcast, you guys, with my friend Mikey from the channel Mad About Disney. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. It's called the Bruh Moments Podcast, you guys. Link will be in the description if you're interested. We talk really about anything we want to talk about. I guess we could categorize it as pop culture podcast. I don't really like the word like pop culture. It's got like a sort of negative connotation, I feel like, in the realm of the internet. So we're not calling it a pop culture podcast. We could call it a poop culture podcast, but we don't talk about poop.
I saw the first episode.
And what did you think?
It happened.
It happened, yeah. That is how I would describe it as well. Yeah, we're just barely starting out over there. It will get more production quality as we move forward. But Bruh Moments Podcast in the description below. Bruh culture. Oh, T-Will, bruh culture instead of pop culture. That's a good one. This is a bruh culture podcast, you guys. But anyways, before we get into any of the news from the peak stuff today, let's go ahead and have a good old jolly time with Matterhorn Matt Snaps, you guys. There it is. That's Matt Snaps, you guys. Just kidding. That was a joke. Here's Matt Snaps' intro song. Yay!
A whole wide world of knowledge awaits underneath the cap. It's once again time this week for Matterhorn Matt Snaps.
It's Matt Snaps, you guys. I love that intro song. I'm blanking on the name of. I'm blanking on the name of whoever created it. He follows me on Instagram. I'll find it. Link in the description. Shout out to him. He also made the
hilarious.
Alex in the Parks intro song. Yeah, I love it. But let's go ahead and pop this Snapple open, you guys. I'm not gonna fail this time. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be gorgeous. It's gonna be amazing ASMR. So let's do this. Crap. Oh, that was okay. That wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't like good. This is real fact number 861. South Carolina is home to the first tea farm in the United States. Oh, interesting. First tea farm. Where do they farm all the Q's and P's and X, Y's, and Z's, you guys? Bad jokes. Alphabet jokes. I know the alphabet, you guys. Because I can make jokes about it. But
It's
anyways.
a wonder that you do.
Yeah. Anyways, before we move on, I guess we sort of ended on a sort of sour note the last podcast. That was, I guess, unplanned.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I guess we should shout out mambaon3.org, you guys, if you'd like to donate to help the families affected by the crash that happened last Sunday. Sarah Chester, I'm going to butcher these names, so I apologize greatly. Sarah Chester, John Altabelli, Carrie Altabelli, Atabelli, I'm sorry, Alyssa Atabelli, Ara Zabayan, Christina Mauser, Gianna Bryant, and Kobe Bryant. MambaOn3.org will help donate to the families affected by the crash, not donating to Kobe's family because they have enough money as it is. It's just for the other people who were affected by the crash. So, again, link in the description below, MambaOn3.org. I would highly encourage you guys to help support these families in this very tragic time. And again, we didn't mean to end on that sour note last episode, so if you guys were sort of bummed out by that, I apologize. It sort of just came out of nowhere, but yeah. Our condolences again to everyone who was involved, but mambaon3.org, link in the description below. And on that note, let's go ahead and move into this week's News from the Peak.
We now present to you News from the Peak.
And for our first bit of News from the Peak, you guys, it's happening again. Jesus is coming back, you guys. Soarin' Over California is returning to Disney California Adventure from February 28th through April 21st. Now, this is according to @DLThings on Twitter, a very reliable source, as well as Mice Chat published this article, so you know it's happening when Mice Chat published it. The fan favorite attraction is returning this month for the Food and Wine Festival at Disney California Adventure, which runs through February 28th through the 21st. I know for sure that Soarin' is coming back the 28th. I'm not sure if it's leaving on the same day that the Food and Wine Festival is leaving on the 21st of April. I'm assuming it is. But yeah, everybody loves good old Soarin' over California compared to the lame Soarin' Over the World stuff. So Alex, do you have any brief thoughts on Soarin' Over California returning to DCA?
I'm glad they're doing this because it'll give me another reason to maybe go back to Disney California Adventure. It's, the only reason why I ever go to Disney California Adventure is to ride the Little Mermaid attraction. That's pretty much it. So being able to ride Soarin' Over California again would be really nice.
Let's make it stay forever this time, yes? I think that was sort of the rumor last time it came back. It didn't stay forever, hopefully. I don't know. Maybe if we knock on Bob Iger's door enough, petition enough. We should start a letter writing campaign to Disney, you guys, because that always works. To bring back Soarin' Over California. Just kidding. That never works.
I like your sarcasm.
Thank you. Got it for my birthday, you guys. I was born with sarcasm. Again. I feel like the earlier we record these, the worse like my jokes are. Anyways, second bit of news from the peak. Fantasy... Oh, there's the picture. Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disneyland Resort is delayed until 2023. Previously set to open in 2022. The new area is set to open in 2023. And in case you guys forgot, this area includes a Frozen area, a Tangled area, Peter Pan area, as well as a brand new resort hotel. Not really, I guess, notable news, but we were really scraping the bottom of the barrel this week, you guys. Not a lot of news happened, but... You know, I'm sure some of you guys will find this interesting. Delayed a year, not really a big deal for me, but Alex, do you have any thoughts on Tokyo or Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disney Sea being delayed till 2023?
Why was it delayed?
I could not find an answer, so if anybody happens to know why it was delayed, type in chat, comment down below, because I'd love to know as well. Yeah.
Avery says that the 40th anniversary is in 2023. So yeah, that makes sense. Maybe Disney wants to associate the new area with the 40th anniversary of the park. So
well, anyways, I'm sure it will be amazing. I've seen, I think, some of the pictures on Twitter about the construction. I think it was from this. It could have been for something else. But, you know, Tokyo does Disney parks, right? So I'm sure it'll be fine. And for our final bit of news from the peak here, you guys, it's finally happening. The scrappers have struck again, you guys. Sporks are being sold at Disney's Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. As many of you guys may or may not know, since Galaxy's Edge opened, guests have been stealing the fancy-themed sporks and selling them online for $80+ until they were eventually removed by both lands, or in both lands altogether. So if you guys don't feel like paying $80 on eBay to pick up one of these, really, actually, I'd buy these. $10, you guys. $10.99, I guess I should say, at Docking Bay 7. And I think you can mobile order them as well. Someone said in chat earlier, I think, or on the Discord, someone said you can mobile order a spork along with your food. So that's pretty cool. These are not yet on sale at Hollywood Studios. This is just in Disneyland Park in California. T-Will says delaying it would be Oriental Land Company's call in regards to the Fantasy Springs delay, not Disney's, so that makes sense. I think I read that somewhere. But anyways, those things are dumb as heck. I mean, I guess they're sporks. I mean, I guess the normal person wouldn't pay like $10 for like a spork, but they're made of metal, I'm pretty sure. Like at least some type of hard metal.
I think they're made of aluminum, and they could be made of stainless steel. But anyway, they're really like tough. Like you can't bend them. Like they're really... Yeah, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about this because a lot of people are wondering why they're not on sale in Florida. And the reason is because Florida never even got their shipment of sporks. The ones at Disneyland were being stolen way before that, and Disney stopped giving them out with your meal. And again, they were not... A lot of people were saying that they were given away for free. Like I read a news article that said, "Oh, these used to be free," and it's like, no.
I mean, technically, they did used to be free, but
I mean, they were utensils at the restaurant, but you weren't allowed to keep them, and so people were just keeping them, just like pocketing them and taking them with them. And so anyway, so these things cost a lot of money because, as you can imagine, they probably cost Disney more money than a regular fork or knife would or spoon would. So because these are like custom. So I think what happened is Disney ordered like thousands of these, right? And then a matter of like dozens, if not hundreds, were being stolen. And so that's when they stopped it. Well, the thing is if Disney starts letting people use these again, they're just going to keep stealing them and selling them on eBay for $80. So Disney goes, what do we do with all these thousands of sporks that we bought that we can't put in the front, but we can't keep in the back. So they're like, hey, people are stealing them and selling them. Why don't we sell them? So this is a limited thing. I bet you once they run out, you're not going to be able to get any more because, you know, unless Disney goes, hey, this is a good business. Let's start, you know, buying more from this company and then selling them. Maybe. But as far as I know, Disney is just selling their current stock of what they purchased for use at the restaurant. So, yeah, so that's why it's only here. So I plan to get one, hopefully next week when I go. I tried to go this week, but I just didn't have enough money in the end to buy a spork. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, they come with a nice little, oops, that's not the right scene. I pushed the wrong button, you guys. That's really awkward. They come with a nice little pouch, I guess. You can carry your spork in, sort of like a bed, I guess. You could put your fork to bed in the little carrying bag when you're not using it. Matt about Disney said they're right-handed, not left-handed. So yeah, if you guys are left-handed, if you eat with your left hand, I feel like you would not enjoy this because the prongs are on. It's right-handed, yeah. So I mean,
it is. But if you think about it, if you just turn the spork over, the prongs will be on the other side.
Oh, go like that. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm sure I'll eventually end up getting one of these fancy sporks. I think, well, whatever. They're sporks, you guys. I don't really care much about it, but they would be cool.
I mean, in the end, it's a spork. You know what I mean? Like, so I get why people are like, oh, I don't want one. But for me, as you know, a Disneyland historian, you know, and the fact that there was something in the park that was never meant to be sold that is now being sold to people, it's like I kind of want one. So, and it's just a spork. It's not like it's going to take up much room in my bedroom, but yeah.
These sporks are going to be Disney's AirPods, you guys. They're going to sell billions and billions of sporks. They're going to start only selling sporks in the park. No other merchandise. No t-shirts, no backpacks, I'm sure. Just the sporks from Galaxy's Edge. I'm predicting that now. But anyways, that is it for this week's News from the Peak. I feel like I'm really bad at like projecting my sarcasm sometimes. And people are going to take that as like a serious thought of mine.
I think you're just bad at communication overall.
You know, that's probably the answer. I'm just hungry right now, you guys. I have hot wings on my mind. I honestly can't focus. My stomach is perpetually growling. My stomach is barking, you guys. My dogs are barking for some hot wings. But anyways, yeah, it's football day today, you guys. Sunday, the 2nd of February, and I'm going all out, you guys. I got my Cardinals cup here, even though the Cardinals aren't in the Super Bowl. Rest in peace. But sports fans out there, Kyler Murray, Offensive Rookie of the Year. So suck on that. We won something. People just automatically, 90% of the audience just tuned out just there. But anyways, we have some main topics to get to, you guys. But before we do, it's time for Alex in the Parks, you guys. Everybody's favorite segment. Alex. I should get like a prop guitar along with this. In the Parks. Vetter said, I'm going for the Chiefs. I'll just put that out there. I hate the 49ers. Sorry, you guys. Anyways, Alex in the Parks. Mr. Alex, why don't you go ahead and lay down the law of the land of what people will expect today for this segment of Alex in the Parks?
So this is just a usual, like, update. There's nothing of significance that I can really tell you ahead of time. There's nothing. Just play the video.
All right, you guys. Alex in the Parks.
So we're over by the Plaza Inn. That's it right there. And I'm just kind of looking at these new walkways that they've kind of widened. You can kind of see the difference here in the concrete. It's supposed to allow for more space so people have more room to get to where they're going. And I must say it's working because, you know, it's still a pretty comfortable walkway, especially with the strollers parked here. So That's always nice. And then the walkway continues on into into Tomorrowland, completely widened by up to, you know, double the space. So let's take a look at the entrance to Tomorrowland. So far work on the entrance to Tomorrowland still hasn't started yet. Again, I don't expect the work on the new entrance to happen till like maybe March at earliest. I think they just want the crowds of Rise of the Resistance to kind of die down and dwindle so they can start putting up construction walls. And it looks like the scrims for the other side of the Tomorrowland panels, so the ones that were there, those were down, and I showed you last week what those look like. But it looks like the one on that side is also coming down with the same exact color scheme of the tiles on that side. So I'm gonna go get my breakfast. So for our Fantasyland construction update, we've just gone through the castle, and the first thing you see is the scrims and construction walls up for the refurbishment of the Bippity Boppity Boutique and the Snow White Scary Adventures attraction. And I showed you last week that the concept artwork is actually up on these scrims, and it's the same exact buildings. They're not going to alter the structure of them on the outside, at least, but they are going to get a lighter repaint, so the brickwork looks a bit more white as opposed to dark brimstone gray. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can find other better images online of that, but that is the King Arthur's Carousel. They've already started removing some of the roofing on it in order to replace it. The roofing is made of steel sheets, and after a while they can get rusted. So I'm pretty sure what they're going to be doing right now is actually replacing them, because I've never seen them take off those steel sheets before. Usually just repaint them. So that's what I think is going on. It's a complete replacement of the roof of King Arthur's Carousel since they've been rusting over the years. Whew. Long-winded. Anyway, off to breakfast. Pretty soon, Toontown City Hall will be home to a new attraction called Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which will be a trackless ride system, although the vehicles will, once in a while, link up into a chain to resemble a train, but then every once in a while will break apart to view different exhibits and things within the ride. Yep, still broken. I'm here in front of Port Royale Curios and Curiosities. This used to be the Curiosity shop, but anyway, the planters that were right out front of the doorways, they were like round pots with like trees growing out of them. They're all gone. I wonder if they're just changing them out or if they removed them because they often have a line out here for meet and greeting a character. I'm not sure. So we're right out front of the Haunted Mansion, and something which I find very interesting, I've never seen it behind large construction walls like this. Never in my life, I just haven't. So it's really interesting. I know that they're doing some repaint work on the outside of the mansion. Hopefully they'll also repair some structural issues. I know that the foundation, after all these years, is kind of sagging a little bit, so parts of the outdoor railings and things are starting to warp. Not just the railings, but also the lattice work that they had going on, separating the balconies. Anyway, point is, the main work that's going on right now, though, is just beyond the main entrance gate. They're working on widening the path that goes up to the mansion itself. Now, the path dates back to 1969. It's the original path. It wasn't designed for wheelchair access. That being said, it has recently been split into 3 different lines. There's the standby queue, the FastPass / DOST, which stands for Disability Assistance Service. And then finally, there is the wheelchair access and exit area. And so they were 3 equal width queues. And unfortunately, there just wasn't enough room for people in wheelchairs. It's not ADA compliant. So they are widening that path to make it ADA compliant. Over here, the Mark Twain Riverboat is still undergoing refurbishment. The Mark Twain Riverboat, while it has recently been designed with a steel skeleton for strength, it is still mostly made of wood, and wood does rot, you know, especially with how much use this boat gets. So they're replacing a lot of the little gingerbread woodwork that goes on inside the ship, the nice little decorative woodwork. They're replacing all of that, repainting the darn thing, cleaning out the boiler and the engines and the pistons, that kind of thing. So looks like I don't see anybody on the boat right now, but yes, that's what's going on.
Okie dokie. So yeah, that was the little update that we had. There wasn't really much to show you guys. I was gonna go further into Toontown to see if I can get some views of any kind of construction on the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but unfortunately there's still nothing vertical going on at the moment. If anything, they're probably still installing underground utilities and things for the new building, so there was nothing to show you except for the area that will soon be the main entrance. And I didn't show the stairs in Tomorrowland that are still under construction because for the most part it's still the same site. They're installing the they call it wire lathe. It's basically chicken wire that they put around the shape of the structure, and that's what the concrete will stick to. So they're installing the wire lathe right now, but it's still hard to see from my camera. My camera doesn't zoom either. It doesn't have a zoom feature because it's so tiny. But yeah, so there was really nothing to show you guys in terms of anything new. But I do imagine that by springtime, the park will get ramped up into further work as they prepare for the 65th anniversary. So there'll probably be some new amazing things to show you guys in the near future. That being said, there's one more thing as part of Alex in the Parks that I wanted to show you guys. So right now,
Alex in the Parks.
So right now, there's something you can buy in the park. You can get a original looking Disneyland popcorn bucket. It's made of cardboard, and you can get it with either the popcorn in it. It's already like pre-made. It's not the one that you get at the popcorn carts, but it's you can get it with popcorn in it, or you can buy the cardboard popcorn bucket by itself, which is what I did. It just comes flat and it's not boxed up yet. You do it yourself. So as you can see, the sides say this one says Tomorrowland and Frontierland. And then if I turn it to the other side, it says Adventureland and Fantasyland. And again, it's designed to look like the original popcorn boxes that you could get in the 50s and 60s. Although I think this is a little bit bigger than the originals. I don't think people back then were this gluttonous to eat this much popcorn. I believe the originals were probably half the volume of this. So, but anyway, yeah, you can see an example of what one of this looks like if you watch, I think it's Disneyland After Dark.
Yeah.
You can see Walt Disney eating from a popcorn bucket just like this, but it's smaller. So yeah, anyway, really cool. I paid, well, actually, it's really interesting. These cost $5, okay? So the just the box alone, not the popcorn in it, but the box alone unfolded into a box is $5. I personally didn't pay for it because the cast member that I was going to buy it from didn't know that it costed money.
Oh my
God. When I was pulling out my wallet to get my card, he goes, "Oh, I don't think it costs any money. Here, you can have one." And I'm like, "Okay." And then like my friend Brett was like, "Well, in that case, I'll get one too." And the guy was like, "Okay, here you are." And so afterwards, Brett was like, "No, dude, it costs $5." He goes, "But I don't think that guy knew that." And so yeah, because Brett already bought one, so he got another one for free. So that was pretty cool. So I got my popcorn box for free. Maybe you'll be lucky, and the cast member won't know that it costs $5, and you can get yours for free too. But really interesting find. Again, it's just gonna take up more space on all my shelves, but it's a cool little thing, you know. Like it's like it's like a bit of Disneyland history. I got like a map from 2005. I have the original 50th anniversary park map. And on the back side of the 50th anniversary park map is a July edition copy of the Disneyland park map from 1955. So it's like really cool. So one side is modern Disneyland from 2005. The other is 1955 Disneyland. So cool. So I like little things like that. But yes, James Casey, $5 for a cardboard box. I'm not gonna sugarcoat the subject. It's a cardboard box. I mean, you have to be crazy like me to spend $5 on a cardboard box, but thankfully I didn't spend $5. I got it for free.
Poor Alex putting that cast member on blast in front of tens of people, you guys. He's gonna get his butt kicked.
Tens of people. In front of tens of people.
Well, anyways, maybe when Brett tried to buy it, the cast member accidentally charged him because he thought that they cost money, but they actually were free, and now Brett's out $5.
Ooh. That could be it too. But I was surprised because when the guy said, "Oh, I don't think you pay anything for this," I'm like, something free at Disneyland? I'm like, come on. No. Did you know that in the Emporium they sell those buttons that you can get at City Hall for free?
Oh,
it's not
yeah,
the exact
yeah.
ones, by the way. It's not the exact ones, but it's something similar. Like it has a different design and it says something else, but they sell those for like $10 in a pack of 2 or something like that. But it's like you can get something very similar to it for free out front of City Hall. So it's like really weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you to Mr. Alex for that. Alex in the parks. I mean, he's not in the parks. He's not in the parks right now, but he was at previously. So technically he was in the parks, but he's not currently in the park. I mean, wait, we're in at the Matterhorn right now, you guys, at the base of the Matterhorn. I forgot we are in the parks. Anyways, hope everyone's having a great day. I'm still thinking about those hot wings, you guys. I'm just bamboozled right now. But anyways, we do have main topics that we got to get to before we finish the episode. First main topic, FastPass Plus coming to Rise of the Resistance in Walt Disney World. Clickbait, question mark? Maybe. Second topic, first look at the brand new SpiderMan quote-unquote Stuntronic coming to Avengers Campus this year. Is that this year that land is opening? I think it is. That's kind of crazy. Final topic. Alex has a potential monorail refurb theory that we would like to discuss with all of you guys. So that's
not
our
a
final
theory. There's proof.
Oh, well, it's proof, you guys. Anyways, for our first topic of the day. That's the right button. Why does my OBS do this? Anyways, first topic of the day. This comes to us from blogmickey.com. And as always, links to all the articles we refer to will be down in the description below. Rise of the Resistance FastPass survey has been sent out to guests via email. I'm sure you guys, if you've been to the parks, I get these emails all the time whenever I use the Play Disney Parks app. When I'm in the parks, it's just like a survey email that they send out to ask generic questions. But this one, not as generic as those ones that you guys might be used to seeing, because this is way more interesting than that. And I guess it's not really important to know, but it's funny that this survey was released, right after Alex and I had our discussion last episode about why FastPass is horrible, and our discussion about boarding passes. So Disney, if you're watching, probably not, watching. But oh my gosh, I feel like every time I'm on stream, I look out my window. I feel like I'd see like Bob Iger or like Bob Chapek with like a sniper rifle, like pointed at my head, like, don't say the word poop on stream or I'll shoot. I feel like that's what he's saying in his head. But anyways, yeah, Disney is surveying guests on FastPass options for Rise of the Resistance at Walt Disney World. The options being explored, as you can see on the screen: boarding groups only, FastPass Plus and standby, or just a normal standby queue with no FastPass, no boarding pass. So Yeah, Alex, what are your thoughts on this email survey sent out about FastPasses? Again, it's kind of funny. What's wrong with you today, Matt? I'm hungry, T-Will. I'm starving. I had a cinnamon roll for breakfast, and I'm drinking a bunch of Snapple right now. But Alex, what are your thoughts on this email survey being sent out to guests? Again, funny enough, just the same after we were discussing our having our discussion about FastPass last episode.
You know, it's like I said, even if Disney isn't watching you, watching me, because every time I say something, it's like all of a sudden they come out with something else that has to do with what I just said. So it's just kind of weird. But, I mean, I know they watch, but the question is like, you know, who is it? Are they an important person that's watching, or are they not an important person that's watching? You know what I mean? Somebody watches. Anyway, that's aside from
Walt is watching all of us, you guys.
Oh, he did. Anyway,
wait a minute. Bruh. There we go.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I don't want to get too far into the subject because maybe it might take up too much time. I don't know, but I mean, I guess basically, I know that the boarding pass thing kind of just stinks because it's like, you know, it all goes out in like less than a minute, and I haven't even been able to ride the ride yet. So, and I don't feel like dealing with the stress of trying to get a boarding pass.
Yeah.
Except for something I just learned.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I was telling Matt I found something secret, something very secret that I'm going to reveal to everybody right here.
Tips and tricks, you guys. This is a Disneyland hack.
I kind of don't want to tell you because I really want to try this method, and I'm afraid that if I tell you, everyone's going to know in the next week before I even go there and try it out. So, but anyway, because you're all my best friends. All right, so this method was actually asked by a friend of mine. I think it was Chris who actually asked.
Chris with a K? As in LMG Vids?
Yes,
I love that
LMG
guy.
Vids.
I love his videos.
Right. He has amazing videos, and they're getting even more, trying out some new techniques with filming. That's anyway. So, so he asked a guest relations cast member, how does someone without a phone get a boarding pass? Because there's got to be some people who come to Disneyland without a phone and they might not be able to get a boarding pass, right? So the cast member says that if you go to where the FastPass kiosks are at Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, they actually give out a limited number of paper boarding passes. Just like a FastPass, you stick your park pass into the machine and it dispenses a boarding pass for you. So that way you can do that all analog on paper, and you just present that boarding pass when you get up to Rise of the Resistance at the appropriate time. So yeah, I'm going to try that out because there is a limited number of them. So the lady told me that every day they set aside a certain number of paper fast passes or paper boarding passes for Rise of the Resistance. So technically, even if all of the boarding passes online on the digital version are taken up, there's still the ones in paper that they haven't given out yet. So when everybody's going on their phone and going, no, I'm going to go over to Tomorrowland and get me that paper boarding pass. So good luck to me.
Yeah, we will need an Alex in the Park segment for that because I'm very interested to see if it's true. Because you haven't tried that yet, right? You just said you haven't tried it yet. So she could have been lying to you.
No, because you know why? Because as a former guest relations cast member, I can tell you, we had ways of doing things non-digitally for people who haven't yet switched over to the digital era. So, like, we had to, because some people just didn't have phones. Some people came from, the Congo,
Greenland.
and it's like, and they just,
You know, like they just don't have phones sometimes, you know, and you have to be able to do things analog like. So it makes sense to me, you know, and it wasn't just for people who don't have phones. It's also for people who say they dropped their phone and their phone doesn't work. And you're like, oh no, I can't get my boarding pass because I was so frustrated. I threw the phone at the ground and now I can't get a boarding pass. So, you know, they have to have a way for people to do that thing. So anyway, I believe it's true. She wouldn't have told me if it wasn't true. I mean, she probably would at most would have said, I don't know, but she did tell me. So I'm going to try it out next week. Hopefully not too many of you heard this because I still want my good chances at getting that boarding pass. So we'll see.
Interesting. Well, next week, you guys, Alex in the Parks. We will be updating you on whether or not this method works. I guess, I don't know, yeah, it's kind of like a Disneyland hack. Well, anyways, yeah, I guess that's it for this topic. Not really a lot to discuss when it comes to this, but we have more meatier topics to get to, especially our final one, which I think you guys will enjoy. So moving on to, well, I guess I would like to ask Alex as well. I saw someone in chat. I'll ask this and then we'll move on. How have the crowds been at Disneyland since the opening of Rise of the Resistance? Have the parks been busier? Have they been slower than usual? Yeah, that's my question to you, Alex.
So, you know, I'm going to say this. The crowds have been exactly what Disney wants them to be. This is what we've been talking about for months, where we said Galaxy's Edge will evenly disperse the crowds in the park. So that way, the lines for the traditional rides aren't overly too long, but the rides in Galaxy's Edge will also kind of take a lot of that sheer mass of people. And it has been working, in my opinion, because as far as I know, the parks have been reaching like 65, 70,000, or the park has been reaching 65, 70,000, which is pretty close, like within like 20% of its maximum capacity. So that is a busy day. Like a moderate day at Disneyland is 45K. A busy day at Disneyland is 65K. So it has been reaching 65,000 from what I hear from my cast member friends. But the reason why the lines don't look that long at rides like Pirates of the Caribbean, which, by the way, you could get in line for Pirates of the Caribbean and get on the ride within 20 minutes, sometimes even 15. And the reason is because Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run are pulling the main amount of those people into Galaxy's Edge and absorbing those crowds. So it's been nice. Like the wait time for rides has been doable, honestly. Like I never saw It's a Small World crest more than like 15 minutes. I didn't see Pirates crest more than 25. Indiana Jones and nothing more than 35 minutes. Jungle Cruise, oddly enough, the other day was a really long line. It was like a 40-minute wait, but the line went all the way down Adventureland. It was insane. I even got it on camera. Too bad what I got on camera isn't going to go on a vlog. So anyway, yeah, anyway, the crowds have been very reasonable though. Like I can't even describe it. It's a busy day, but doesn't feel as busy as it really is. Mm-hmm. So it's nice. It's nice. It's
interesting.
Working.
All right. Well, for those of you asking in chat, and for me as well, I guess, there is your answer, you guys. No poop, big crowds, like we predicted. Although it's still kind of weird looking back to like our predictions on how Galaxy's Edge would affect Disneyland. That like it'd break Disneyland.
It is, isn't it? We seriously thought it would break Disneyland. I thought it would break Disneyland. I was like, Disneyland is not ready for this kind of, this kind of crowds. Like it's just an old park, but I mean, it's it's working, and that's with Haunted Mansion closed, so it's like it's working.
Yeah, maybe in our 1-year review coming up in a few months for Galaxy's Edge, you guys, we'll recap, or I guess look back on our predictions for Galaxy's Edge, because yeah, we were a tad bit wrong when it came to that kind of stuff, when it comes to the crowd levels at least. But anyways, that concludes our first topic, and I'd like to ask you guys watching or listening currently, how has your luck been when it comes to trying to get boarding passes for Rise of the Resistance? How early did you get to the park? Because I've been asked a few times on Twitter and on the stream too, like, what is my best, or I guess like how would I go about getting a boarding pass for Rise? I don't know, because I haven't done it yet, and I haven't really done a lot of digging and research when it comes to like the best methods, the best time to get to the park, the best time to get to the parking structure, I guess. I've heard it varies like greatly sometimes, but yeah, I'm not really the best person to ask that. So I'd like your guys' opinion on that as well, just so I can acquire some knowledge from you guys.
Well, my friend Brett tells me that, like, for him, like, because he's tried to go several times. He's been on the ride once at least, I think. But what he tells me is like the crowds get really crazy. It's hard to find parking if you get there even like a little bit too late. And by too late, I mean like closer to when the park opens. Trying to find parking gets really difficult. And then he said that that usually it's a hit or miss if you'll even be able to get a boarding pass because the app gets really slow since everybody's on it at once. So yeah, even Justin Boyer says should plan to go early to get parking and get through security and the gate. Yeah, because when I get there just before park opening, the lines to get in the park are insane. And thankfully they open the park. Well, they don't open the park. They open the gates early so people can line up on Main Street, just like they usually do, but just a little bit earlier. So yeah, but I heard it's a mess just before the park opens. And then once everyone has their boarding pass, it starts to just cool its heels. It just starts to, the experience gets better. So I've been getting to the park at like 8:20 a.m. just to avoid the morning insanity. So yeah,
someone said, who was it? Luck? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. Lukkkyres, Lucky Res? I don't know. I'm sorry. He said, one tip, they tend to rope drop 5 to 10 minutes early. Go to the top of Tarzan's treehouse for perfect cell reception. I got group 18 on that day, so shout out to him. Again, I don't want to like feed you. Again, the reason I ask is because I don't want to feed you guys like false information. Like someone tells me one thing that they did, like let's say I tell what he just said to all of you guys, but then you try and maybe you have like AT&T or something, and the cell reception up at Tarzan's treehouse is like horrible compared to like on the ground. So
or like everyone weighs down Tarzan's treehouse from the top level, and then it just collapses.
Everybody jumps when they get a boarding pass on the bridge.
Yeah, and the whole thing.
So yeah, anyways, again, it varies. I think I heard Fresh Baked said at one point it took like 45 minutes to park and to get into Mickey and Friends parking structure and to park. So yeah, it will vary. But someone asked when the Star Wars Hotel opens. I'm reading here, 2021, next year, is when the Star Wars Hotel is opening in Hollywood Studios. Probably like $1 billion per night. So I probably won't be going, but it'd be nice to go. Let's see, last comment here. Reposting this so Matt can see it. Scan ticket, and then they can reserve boarding pass in downtown Disney. From what I've heard, they don't use GPS, and the Wi-Fi is faster there. Interesting. Again, take all of these with a grain of salt, because I'm sure, like I said, it can vary from person to person, from phone to phone, from cell carrier to cell carrier. One person might have Verizon and have amazing cell reception. The other person could have T-Mobile and have horrible cell reception. So
yeah, I heard that people can't get their boarding pass from outside the park because the app knows when you're in Disneyland. That's what I heard. So
Again, I don't know if I'm right because I've never done that before. But I mean, I've never done any of it before. I haven't even gotten a boarding pass yet. I haven't tried because I've been so afraid of trying to. But I hear all kinds of stories, so I'm just not sure like which ones, you know.
Yeah. So pick one tip that you like, that you think sounds interesting. Try that. If it doesn't work, find another one, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the best when it comes to advice for this.
I'm personally gonna wait. Probably. I mean, if I don't get my boarding pass next week using my analog method, then I'm probably just gonna wait till the crowds kind of die down. I mean, some people don't know this, but I waited 10 years to ride Toy Story Midway Mania.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because after it opened, it always had 2 to 3 hour long lines, and then when they added FastPass to it, it went from like the lines are starting to die down to a reasonable level, and I was actually going to go ride it, and they added FastPass, and it was like, oh, there's the queue again. It just went back up to 2 hours, and so I never rode it. And finally, in like 2017, I had enough time in the day, and I'm like, I'm gonna try, and then I rode it, and I was like, wow. But anyway, point is like I didn't ride that ride for 10 years. I hadn't even seen what it looked like. So that was, yeah. So who knows how long I'm going to wait to ride Rise of the Resistance.
You're going to be 80 years old when they first stop doing boarding passes. 80 years from now, Alex will ride.
The ninja person says it still gets over 2 hour wait. Yeah, it still does. The only reason why on Toy Story Midway Mania for the first time in 2017 was because I just had enough time. I had I got my annual pass for that was when I had my first annual pass ever. I wasn't in the park with anybody. I had no time frame. So I was like, I have unlimited time to wait in this line. So I did. But other than that, if I didn't have an annual pass, I probably would not have even waited in that line. So it would have been more than 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, take everything that we're saying with a grain of salt, because we've never done this before. We don't know. We don't have firsthand experience. We've only heard secondhand stories. Is it third? Whatever. We've only heard stories from other people saying their successes, their failures. So people are talking about you can get a boarding pass outside of the park. Some are saying you can't. I figure you have to scan your ticket to enter the park. I figured that's how it has to be. Once you scan your ticket to get into the park, I'm thinking maybe you can leave the park and still be able to get a pass since you've already scanned in your ticket. I don't know. Don't take that
Doesn't
literally.
All this just sound too stressful?
Yes,
you know,
it does.
I look at all this and I'm like, God, I don't even try. That's how stressful it looks to me. Like I don't even. I just want to avoid it.
Well, I'm sure there are some YouTube channels. I think Fresh Baked has like a good. I haven't watched it. I just saw the thumbnail and the title. I'm sure they have a video, like FastPass, or what is it? Boarding pass do's and don'ts. Anyways, that was like, we spent a lot of time talking about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's see. What is our second topic, you guys? Disney has released their first look at the quote-unquote Stuntronics coming to Avengers Campus. And I was looking for the picture here, but I realized I don't have a picture because I have this amazing video by Disney themselves. And it's not going to loop, is it? Advanced controls. Okay, it's looping. Anyways, so yeah, this is pretty cool. I remember we were first teased about this back in August of 2018, you guys, as well as at the end of the Imagineering story. They showed off a teaser for that as well. Yeah, so this is our first official look from Disney of the animatronic. I guess the term they're using to call it is like quote-unquote Stuntronics for the SpiderMan attraction at Avengers Campus in California. It looks neat. I mean, it looks like the videos that we've been seeing online, except this is like in full Spider-Man getup. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Alex, what are your thoughts on this first look here of the new Spider-Man Stuntronic coming to Avengers Campus later this year? Well, I think it could be coming later this year, but the land is opening this year. Sorry.
Selfish host.
Okay, so so I think it looks cool. I think it's really amazing that Disney can do things like have, an animatronic that is not wired up to anything, and just be launched in the air and do these really cool poses when it's in the air. I think it's going to be a problem. But I mean, so the problems I foresee is like the launch system, let's say all of a sudden like a big gust of wind kicked up, and then he's like in the air, and maybe he doesn't land in the area that they want him to land, maybe somewhere else on the roof, and he just crashes to the ground, and breaks. Or maybe even worse, a random tornado came in through the main gate, and then paid its pass, of course, came in through the main gate and then picked up the animatronic and flipped him around. Okay, that part was a joke. Okay, just so you know, I don't really think that tornadoes pay to get in the park. No, but I see issues, even the launch system. Like, what happens if it launches him too quickly by accident and then he just flings into Buena Vista Street, and even if that kind of thing doesn't go wrong, you also have to think about his air time. Like, he's probably only going to be in the air for literally 1.5 seconds. So you're going to see him go whoop like that, and then he's gone. Yeah. And then that's it. So I'm just like, it's a really cool effect. But I mean, is it, and then, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It could go so many ways. And I know people are gonna be like, well, Alex, you got to watch it first to make sure you even know like how cool it's going to be. I'm like, unfortunately, there's one problem with that logic is I'm not going to watch it. So anyway, but yeah, anyway, that's what I think.
Yeah. I guess the Chapek in me is sort of saying like, how long will it be until this eventually breaks down and they eventually never repair it again, and we never see it again? It has its first showing, opening day, and then it never happens again. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll be cool. I mean, it looks really cool from the stuff we've seen previously back in August, especially here with this full Spider-Man costume. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, you guys. I've said this before on the channel. I love Spider-Man. And this is, like, really cool. I feel like if I saw this, like, 10 years ago, in the parks, I would poop my pants, you guys. 11-year-old me, pants would be full of poop. I'd be mind blown, you guys, at how cool this is. But I'm sure it'll be neat. So I'm excited to see how this is implemented in the future. And there's also a, I guess, follow up to this as well. Disney is also holding auditions for Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America, and an unnamed villain for an upcoming stunt show happening in Avengers Campus. And it seems, at least according to this, from Mice Chat, it seems Disney is learning their lesson to not cheap out on the live entertainment shows in lands like they did with Galaxy's Edge. So if you guys are fans of seeing the Avengers running around, jumping, doing flips, sort of stunt show, don't go to Galaxy's Edge, because there's none of that there. They just have a rolling R2-D2 robot, and then Kylo Ren comes up and pretends to force choke you. But here, at least hopefully in the future, they will have fully choreographed stunt shows, especially with this. This will be cool too. So, yeah, that's like the one thing I'm looking forward to for this land. Yeah, Avengers Campus is sort of it feels weird. It feels like it's opening still like 5 years from now in the future. It doesn't feel like it's opening this year. I feel like it's because I don't care. I don't really care much for Avengers Campus. But anyways, yeah. So worrying about what could go wrong, says T-Will, paralyzes the mind from moving forward with something new.
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that I'm interested to see how it goes wrong. That's all I'm saying. I mean, honestly, remember when we were saying that a ride like Rise of the Resistance wouldn't, probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be all that feasible because of all the different things that could go wrong. I wasn't even saying back then that they shouldn't do it. I was just saying that it's going to be interesting to see how it goes wrong, So by all means, launch an animatronic in the air, but I mean, I just want to know. I'm excited to see.
That is such a weird sentence. Launch an animatronic in the air. It sounds like he's gonna be shot out of a cannon or something.
You see Bob Chapek with like a big torch, and he's all,
yeah. Bobby, if you're watching opening of Avengers Campus, you got to do that. Anyways, yeah, I'm curious as well what how often they'll do this. Maybe like once in the morning and once in the evening, maybe for like the shows. Yeah, I'm sure on windy days, just like they cancel the fireworks, I'm sure they'll cancel Spider-Man being launched out of a cannon. But anyways, it is interesting. Again, this was teased at the end of the Imagineering story as well, so this is sort of like their next, or I guess at least one of their next big projects that they're really focused on. I'm sure they're proud of this, because I'm sure this was hard as heck to figure out how they could launch a piece of machinery in the air and have it do like flips and twists and like tucks and rolls. That's a Bugs Land reference, you guys.
It's a tuck and roll. Yeah.
Well, anyways, love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And yeah, when does this open? It opens summer of 2020. That could mean August. That could mean May. That can mean June or July. Doesn't the summer season end in September? Or is it August that it ends?
Well, summer ends in usually August or September.
Okay.
I think this will most likely open in July. A lot of things in the resort tend to open in July, so there's a high likely chance it'll open in July. Plus, they want those summer crowds. They want people to start coming in as soon as possible. So it's probably gonna be the beginning of summer. But anyway, I might walk through the land and vlog it. I might. I mean, I am curious to see what the land will look like.
Mm-hmm.
But I want people to be clear. I don't really like DCA, so I'm not gonna be going to Marvel Land and going on the rides, going through the shops. Like, I'm not a Marvel fan at all. I don't really like superhero stuff. But I am curious to see what the land will look like. So maybe sometime when it opens, I'll vlog myself walking through the land, and that's probably the last you'll see of it ever again on my channel. But yeah.
I feel like this video clip has really great meme potential. Like if you put like a caption over it with him flipping around. Someone will do that. Corvin, if you're watching, or Disney Doof, one of them will do that. But anyways, that does it for this topic. And before we move on to our final topic about the possible monorail refurbs coming, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to take I'm going to say possible, Alex, until
Matt's
you...
making me angry.
Until you explain yourself, then I will be saying probable. But let's take a quick break from our sponsors. If you guys are wondering where you can find even more family-friendly live streams just like this one, head on over to theliveplace.com. The Live Place is your headquarters for great family-friendly live streams. They cover anything from Disney to other vacation spots, various variety shows, and have some amazing streamers like Resort TV 1 and myself. Also, be sure to check out puckermint.com, where you can find amazing pins and stickers. Puckermint is based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, just a few hours from where I live. And since I'm a big believer in supporting local artists, we decided to partner up. Be sure to use the coupon code down below when you make your next order. Again, that's puckermint.com and puckermint on Instagram. Again, you guys, that's puckermint.com and puckermint on Instagram. Yeah, and now this is our final topic of the day, you guys. I guess let's go ahead and let Alex take the reins from here, because he's the one with the knowledge up in his noggin about this topic. And I will be admiring from afar. I'll be occasionally laughing and saying words. So, Alex, take it away.
So, there has been a lot of talk in the last 2 years.
Sorry, before we move on, who is this video clip that we're showing from the channel?
Oh, right. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were going to show that because you suddenly took it off the screen. So this is from a channel called 4K WDW, which stands for 4K Walt Disney World, obviously. Yeah, I've recently been following his channel because I really like his 4K video footage. And I thought this would be the perfect video to show while I talk about some new information, which isn't mentioned in the video. This is just a ride through, but it does kind of prove my point. So anyway, anywho, in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of talk about getting a whole new set of monorails, a whole new fleet of monorails for Walt Disney World in Florida. To the point where even Matt and I did a podcast and we talked about these contracts which were signed by some mysterious American company for the Bombardier company to possibly give them new monorails. And even Bob Gurr himself hinted over the last year or so that that Disney was in talks with Bombardier to get new monorails. Now, the funny thing is that, and yes, it is pronounced Bombardier, not Bombardier. Bombardier stands for someone who bombs things. No, it stands for someone who bombs things. Bombardier is the name of the company. Anyway, so yes, so when some other YouTubers took a look at recent contracts for Bombardier, they did see that there were two contracts signed by an American company, one for 200 million, the other for 100 and something million. It totaled just over $300 million, the two contracts together. And so people were like, oh, this means Disney is purchasing a whole new fleet of monorails for Walt Disney World. But then another YouTuber came in and said, this can't be possible because to replace all 11 monorails with brand new Bombardier monorails would cost between $600 to $800 million.
There's Mickey Views that said that.
Was it?
I believe so.
I wasn't sure who. Okay. So, yes. So a bunch of, so everybody kind of dropped the subject because it made sense. $600 to $800 million for a new fleet of Bombardier monorails, that it just didn't match up with the contracts that we saw, and Disney hasn't mentioned anything since. So, no one, we dropped it. Everyone dropped it. But then I was watching a recent video from Mickey Views where he was talking about this subject yet again. And he was talking about how monorails were coming back from refurbishment, and he was really excited about it. And I was like, oh, that's really great because the monorails have been kind of falling apart, And so I was really happy to hear that they were refurbishing the monorails. And then it dawned. So he was talking about how the interiors of the monorail were completely replaced with new interiors. Some of their running gear and stuff has been replaced. And stuff like that. And then they've just been getting an overall repair. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, after all this time, we still never saw what company purchased monorails from Bombardier. It still hasn't shown up. So whatever happened to that? And I'm like, nothing ever happened to that. So where did the money go? What was it for? And it kind of pieced together in my mind that what the contract was for was not purchase of Bombardier monorails. I think what Disney is doing is they're sending the Walt Disney World monorails to Bombardier to be refurbished. So that way they're new again, basically. And it makes sense because, first of all, the Mark 6 monorails, which we're looking at right here, were originally manufactured by the Bombardier company, and were put on the line around 1991. So yes, they are Bombardier monorails. It makes sense that if Disney wanted them stripped down to nuts and bolts and completely put back together again with new stuff, that they would have to send it to Bombardier. Plus, Disney, they don't do stuff like refurbishing their own monorails anymore. Imagine do that kind of stuff. They always give it to an outside vendor. So I thought if they were to give it to an outside vendor, who would it be? Bombardier, because they were the original manufacturer. So yes, so the 300 million wouldn't make sense for a new fleet of 11 monorail because it's half the amount that they would at least need. But it does make sense for Bombardier to refurbish those monorails for $300 million. And that's what I think. And so where's the evidence? Well, like Mickey View says, the monorails have been going out for refurbishment. They have come back. And in this video, you see two monorails. The first one that 4K WDW rode was Monorail Black and Red, which, by the way, it used to just be Monorail Black. Now it's called Monorail Black and Red because of the new coloration. And he rode that to Magic Kingdom. And so that was a newly refurbished monorail. Now you're watching him board Monorail Green. If you stop at the 550 mark, or actually go a little bit till he gets inside, and then he shows a brief view of the back wall of the inside of the monorail. So right as he sits down, and you'll see that the interior of the monorail car is new. See, like that green back wall and all that. That wasn't there. The seats didn't look like that. They were different. So they have been stripped out from the inside and completely just rebuilt with new paneling. So anyway, the monorails have been going out. And so you have to ask yourself, well, who's doing it? Who's manufacturing all this new stuff for the interiors and exteriors of the monorail? Even the monorail doors close smoother than they used to. So even those were taken off, refurbished, whatever. So yeah. So while it may be a theory that Disney did have contracts with them for $300 million to refurbish the monorails, what isn't a theory is that, yes, the monorails have been coming back brand new and refurbished. Somebody had to do it, and it certainly wasn't Disney that did it themselves. So,
conspiracy blown wide open, you guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
the cat is out of the bag.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I have yanked the cat out of the bag. I'm like very, very certain that these American contracts that we heard of was Disney, and it was for a refurbishment of the monorails, not for a new fleet of monorails, because they've been taken out and brought back under refurbishment. So it's in front of us, folks.
The evidence is there, you guys. Well, yeah. Very interesting. When Alex was talking about this, I was under the assumption that it would be about the Disneyland monorails, not the Walt Disney World monorails. I don't know why I thought that. I guess when I hear the word monorail, Disneyland is the first thing that comes to mind. But I
was shortly even corrected. Said Walt Disney World.
Did you? So. I must have missed that part.
I did, and I sent you a video from Walt Disney World.
That's when I realized, oh, it's about Disneyland. It's about Walt Disney World's monorails.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, yeah, we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And, you guys, be on the lookout for future news sources that may or may not pick up on this story because they're watching our podcast. Because this is insider information. Not really insider information, but, yeah. Shout out to Mr. Alex, the historian, for piecing this together. Matt thought Alex said Hot Wings monorail. T-Will... What? I'm even more hungrier now than when we started, and it's 1:15, you guys. I'm famished. But anyways, yeah, thank you, Mr. Alex. Do you have any other concluding thoughts you'd like to say about this lovely, lovely topic?
I don't think so, but I guess the other thing too is some people were saying that the reason why, I think it was Mickey Views that actually, that the reason why Disney couldn't, even if they wanted to, buy brand new Bombardier monorails is because the new Bombardier monorails don't fit the Walt Disney World track. They would have to be like completely redone, which makes sense because a lot of people wonder why when the Mark 7s came to Disneyland, why they didn't look completely different from the Mark 5s. And that reason is for the same thing too. Like, no manufacturer currently makes a monorail that fits the dimensions of the Disneyland monorail track. Their city monorails designed by companies like Bombardier have taller cabins, longer cars, and wider turning radius than what Disneyland has. And so the reason why in my monorail video, I talk about how the Disneyland monorails, they haven't gotten a new design, a new chassis design since the Mark IIIs, was simply because they'd have to custom build from scratch a whole new monorail to fit the Disneyland line, and it's much easier just to take off all the old parts and fit it onto the old chassis, and fit new parts onto the old chassis, as opposed to just building a new one. So most likely, if we get a Mark 8 monorail, which by the way wouldn't be for another 10 years because we're only 10 years into its lifespan, but yeah, so if we got a Mark 8, it would probably be a refurbished Mark 7. So but there's one thing going for it, which I just have to say because I'm such a huge fan. But I kind of hope that when this new Tomorrowland refurbishment at Disneyland comes, that they will redesign the mono track to have wider turns, and so it doesn't loop over itself as tightly, at least. So that way we can get larger monorails. You know, ones like we have at Walt Disney World where people can stand in them, you know, and hold more people, you know, and stuff like that. Because I really feel like the monorail is a great way to get to and from, but it has such a low capacity because they're so small at Disneyland. So I feel like just enlarging the monorail just a little bit more will allow us to, you know, have better capacity and newer monorails. I know nobody really cares.
Awesome, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, they're really awesome, and they really are a viable short distance transportation for cities. So it's like, you know, why don't we have more of them?
Hyperloop who? I'm more about the monorail. Wiki monorail. Anyways, I'm hungry, you guys. I'm all loopy. Well, anyways, We Cares says Ninja Cracker. Thank you. We Cares.
Yeah, T-Well, like I agree. Like the only reason why the Disneyland monorails don't fix their AC is because they're designed for like small cars. Think like a Ford Fiesta. Like that's what the AC is designed for. And when they're trying to pump air into these relatively large spaces where the doors are constantly opening and shutting and permitting hot air in and out, the AC units get hard to maintain. They just can't keep up. And then the Disney company goes, well, we don't want to keep paying for maintenance on these units. So if we had bigger monorails with a larger capacity for a more a modern and better vehicle air conditioner, then we could have some, you know, nice air conditioned monorails. But that probably won't happen until we get bigger monorails, honestly.
Yeah, hopefully in the future, bigger monorails. That would be cool. I mean, I'd miss the looping. We've talked about this before. I'd miss like the long winding loops about Fantasyland and Tomorrowland that the monorail does. Yeah. But I mean, it's sort of unnecessary at this point almost.
It is. Yeah, it's unnecessary to have that. But I feel like, okay, like I know in the past, in the other episodes, I said, well, I feel like our monorail system should have no like looping over and under kind of thing. But and that was because I said that it limits how tall you can build the monorail because there's a track going over it. But I feel like, you know, if they really wanted to still do like it looping over itself, then they should build it so the clearance is much, much larger. so that way they're not limited by how tall they could build the monorail. But yeah, I mean, you know, I know a Tomorrowland refurbishment is eventually going to happen. The question is, will that area of looping and dipping and twisting, will that stay? And we don't know. Honestly, there's no reason for it to stay because technically, according to the way the ride operates, it just adds extra wear and tear to the monorails, and it adds an extra wait time because then the monorails take longer to get to each station because of that Tomorrowland looping and dipping and diving. So
and tuck
and rolling.
Yeah. Bugs Land, gone but not forgotten. Rest in peace, Bugs Land. Well, anyways, yeah, we'd love to hear. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this monorail topic as well in the comments down below. And yeah, I think
tell me if you think I'm right. Tell me if you think I'm right that, you know, that the Walt Disney World monorails were sent to Bombardier, and that explains the $300 million contracts from a mysterious American company who has yet to show up with brand new monorail.
It was me. The Matterhorn Matt Corporation purchased a monorail, and I'm running it from my house to Disneyland. That's the tweet. And that's the tea. Anyways, yeah, that does it for this week's main topics. And there was something I wanted to talk about when we finished, but I can't remember. Oh my gosh. It was going to be something funny, I'm sure. I just can't remember, you guys. I just can't remember. Well, anyways, thank you to everybody for coming out to today's episode. As always, links to all the articles we reference will be down in the description below. Again, Alex's channel is in the description as well as his Twitter, you guys. Alex has a Twitter, in case you didn't know, and he tweets.
I also have an Instagram, which people don't even know about that either. So.
Well, I'll add Alex's Instagram link down in the description as well, next to his Twitter and his YouTube. As you all know, my stuff is there as well. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, if you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, all that jazz. I'm trying to. It's bothering me that I can't remember what I was gonna say earlier, and I'm not ending
Probably
the podcast.
Had something to do with poop or something.
I was just about to say that. It was probably something to do with that. We're not ending the stream until I remember, guys. So buckle up. We're gonna be doing a mukbang later with all the hot wings coming in. This isn't what it was, but someone tweeted me during the show today about Matterhorn Mondays After Dark with Jeremy. Yes, that's still happening. We don't know when it's happening. We need to have like a meeting, him and I, to like discuss that. But
yeah, when are you guys coming out with your new shows like Memory Voyage, you know, and stuff? Like, what's going on with that?
I've been busy. I've been busy with real life projects, non-YouTube projects.
Too busy for us.
Well, the podcast, like I said a few episodes ago, you guys, if anything, if for some reason we stop all content on the channel, the podcast will be the one thing that remains forward. We're going to be doing this into our 90s, you guys, in our elderly care homes. I'm going to have my webcam set up, my 4 monitors set up. I'm going to have my microphone plugged in next to my IV machine, and Alex and I are going to do the podcast on our deathbeds, you guys. Hopefully. Well, anyways, yeah, Matterhorn Mondays After Dark. Still happening. I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm holding myself to that as well. So fear not. I'll talk to Jeremy this week, and then we're gonna get on that because I feel like it'd be a fun. I don't know. We haven't really worked out like the concept of it, like what we're gonna be talking about. So we'll figure that out as we go. But anyways, for some reason, this cup smells really bad. I thought it was like me that was smelling, but it's the cup. It smells like, I don't know if you guys have like ever been in like a middle school like locker room like after PE where it's just like sweat, like the stench of like sweat of like people running around. That's what this cup
Why
smells
are you telling us this?
I've been smelling it the entire episode, and I didn't smell it up until the point, like, until we started the episode, and I came in here with my glasses, and I was worried it was me, but it's not me. I showered, I shower, you guys, I swear. I put on deodorant, I wash my hair, everything, but I need to wash that as well, I guess. But anyways, thank you guys for coming. Happy Super Bowl. Go Chiefs. Yeah, 49ers suck. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up this episode of the show. If you'd like to suggest any topics, you can do so by tweeting. TMI says scary. That, I guess, whatever. Let's just end the show. I'm hungry. Thank you guys for coming, and as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Where's my mouse? I can't click the stop.